Okay, so now that we have our activate ability, well, our fire ability now utilizing the pressed and release trigger logic, we want to go ahead and pretty much handle the target data inside of here. So what we're going to be doing, well, target data and the full auto logic, we need to make and send target data when the ability is activated. So that way we can send the hit result to the server. Server can handle dealing damage and all that kind of stuff as we see fit. And, well, we go on from there. Next up, we also are going to want to actually change the instancing policy to be gameplay ability instancing policy. We want this to be instanced per actor, just as a small little optimization. And we actually want to do this to our aiming ability as well. So let's go to our aim ability, go to the constructor, and set this here too. So now that we have that, we want to first work on the actual full auto logic. So basically, the full auto logic is going to be happening locally inside of this ability. It's not really going to be happening, you know, in the actual firearm itself. So the way this will work is in the activate ability, instead of pressing the trigger locally, we are pretty much just going to do the firing stuff inside of this ability. However, the server is going to call the press trigger and all of that stuff. So we will likely, where are we at here? Make a different condition of basically if we are locally controlled, we are not going to fire the on rep or anything like that. So that way we don't, double up. So I'll show you what I mean when we actually get there. So to begin, we're going to need a ability task. Now, an ability task they are typically latent, so they do not, happen instantly. And in the case of this, it's a delay. So we start the ability task, we create the ability task, start it, and then after whatever specified time has elapsed, it will then fire and, well, call a function that we can do logic on. So what we're going to do is in our fire ability here, let's go ahead and make a void fire function. Likewise, we need that ability task. So U property is going to be a T object pointer of U ability task wait delay. So this will be the full auto wait delay. Let's go ahead and forward declare the ability task wait delay and create the definition for the fire function. So I'm also going to move this get firearm logic component right below the constructor because it's going to be used kind of from everything below it. So once we have this, what we can do is if we are locally controlled, so is locally controlled, we want to call fire. Otherwise, we are basically going to just press the trigger. So this will be kind of the indication of, hey, we are the server. Hey, we are the client. So we're going to head over to fire and we want to create that delay. Well, we actually only want to create it if we are in full auto, for example. So in our case, we're going to do if true, and I'm going to write a comment. So if in full auto, so that way we know to replace this later, we want to start the wait delay task. So full auto wait delay equals U ability task wait delay. So we need to include it right where are we at? Right here. So let's include abilities, tasks, ability task wait delay. And they always have a static function that are typically consistent with the name. So in this case, it's called wait delay. So it takes in the owning ability, which is this, and then the actual delay, which would be, in our case, the fire rate. So where we have this, we have 0.075. We are going to use 0.075 here as well. So at some point, we're going to end up moving this logic or this value into the data asset that defines the firearm. So now that we have the wait delay, we need to set the actual callback. So what it calls when the delay has finished. So what we want here is the on finish, and we can add dynamic. And what we want to add is this, and we want to basically call the fire function again. So U gameplay ability fire, fire. Now, because this is a add dynamic, we need to make this fire function a U function. That way it can go ahead and quit complaining. So once we have done that, we simply want to activate it. So this will basically start the actual delay itself. If we don't activate it, nothing happens. So now that we've started the wait delay, we can actually do the firing logic. So I also want to point out the reason we're not worried about, cleaning this up or anything like that is because once we end the ability, so even if, we start this delay and then end the ability before it actually fires off, the way this is set up is because the owning ability that we're passing in is no longer valid, it will not actually try to call or trigger anything. So we don't have to worry about doing any cleanup ourselves. It'll just do it for us. So here we want to go ahead and do basically our fire logic, which in our case is not really much. It's just performing a line trace. So in our case, we want to create a perform trace function. So this way we can perform a trace out of the muzzle and all that kind of stuff and actually get the hit result from it. Likewise, let's remove these blueprint callable. They are no longer needed and create the perform trace. So we want it to return let's see, do we want to do we'll do a bool for the return and we'll call it perform trace or perform bullet trace. And we want it to output a hit result. So F hit result and do it by reference and just name it hit result. So let's create this definition here. And I'm also going to move it up around our fire function because our fire function is actually going to make use of it. So we can cut and paste here. And basically what we want to do is get world, line trace, single by channel, and the hit result will be hit result. Then we have the same thing, our start and end, so muzzle transform dot location, then our trace end, and then we have the collision channel, which in our case for now will be ECC underscore visibility. This will be something we are going to define in the project settings at some point. And then we have the F collision query params. So collision query params, which we need to make. So F collision query params, we want to add ignored actor. So we want to add the get owner. And we also want to add another one, which would be the get owner. So we want to ignore the firearm and we want to ignore the owner of the firearm, which would be our player. So we have all of that. And we can do a const bool be hit. So we're going to return be hit. So basically true or false if it, actually hit something. So now that we have perform bullet trace, we want to perform bullet trace and we need to do it off the firearm logic component. I don't know why I completely forgot that. So this is going to output a F hit result. So F hit result, and pass that in. Now let's wrap this in an if statement. So if perform bullet trace has made a hit, we want to create and send target data to the server. And otherwise, we're basically, not going to do anything because there's no, if we don't hit anything, there's nothing to send. So, if you shot, I don't know, straight through here into the sun, into the sky, you're not going to hit anything. So there's no point in sending that hit data to the server. You're just kind of wasting resources at that point. Okay, so now that we are calling fire, let's go ahead and print out a log here. So UV log temp, warning, text. Let's do U gameplay ability fire, so we can kind of see. All right, let's go ahead and close out of the editor, save all, recompile, and relaunch, and let's just try to find some potential problems. Okay, once we are back inside the editor, let's go ahead and we will first start out as standalone. So let's shoot, and there we have, our U gameplay ability fire and shooting both happening. So if we look, let's see where we're at. So if we're locally controlled, we should have activated fire ability. Then we have U gameplay ability fire. So fire right here, which will call perform bullet trace. And perform bullet trace is what is printing out the shooting. So we don't necessarily want to have this print here because that was very deceiving. We want to have it in fire because fire is going to be calling perform bullet trace on pretty much its own. So hit result. So let's make a F hit result, and wrap this in a if statement. So we're basically doing the same kind of thing we're doing in fire, but inside of the ability. So I'm going to run live coding just to go ahead and correct that log so we can have a better view of the actual flow of what is happening. Okay, let's go ahead and give it another try. Clear out the log. So we left click, do a couple shots. So we activate the fire ability. We call fire, every single time we shoot. So this is that fire function in the ability. And then we simply end the fire ability. So that is good there. Let's do the same thing as a client. So as a client, same thing. So now we activate the fire ability and we immediately call fire on the client. That's good. Then the server activates the fire ability. And instead of calling, the fire function here inside the ability, it is calling the, what is it called? The press trigger function inside of the, what's the word? Inside of the firearm logic component. So that's good. At that point, we are pretty much good to go. You can kind of see it is alternating. And then lastly, once we end the ability, everything just kind of stops. So far that seems like we are good to go. So what we want to do now, well, we're running on 13 minutes, so we're going to end up ending the video. But we basically just need to create and send target data to the server. And that's, for the most part, pretty much it. So anyhow, that is going to be all for this video, and I will see you in the next one. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where you can also have early access to this entire series.